Hello, I'm the Anime Viewer 66, and today we're going to be taking a look at the spiritual successor to Hellsing Ultimate, Drifters. Our setting is something straight out of a J.R.R. Tolkien novel with elves and dwarves and dragons and all that sort of thing. In this particular story, humans are totally racist and have enslaved all the other, subhuman races. And as we figure out later on, they're basically Nazis for more than one reason. And of course, we have to have some heroes to fight our villains. But that leads to the question, which of the groups that come forth are the hero and which are the villain? We see two main groups that go against the sort of evil, racist humans in this first season. You have the Drifters and the Inns. Both of these groups are basically made out of similar people. For some weird reason, basically these cosmic entities are having a bet of who will win, the Drifters or the Inns or whatever. They take people, historical figures from our world, put them in this fantasy world, and basically say, go to town. You have the Drifters, which are basically a ragtag group of different people that aren't all aligned together in one singular group. They're a bunch of sort of splinter groups, sort of thing. We follow one main group throughout this first season, and then you have the Inns, which are one centralized group run by this one dude who I'm guessing is either going to turn out to be Buddha or Jesus because they haven't revealed who it is yet, but those are my guesses. And the reason I say that is because of some of the miracle stuff he's able to do. I like the take on this story so far, showing that there is truly no such thing as good or evil in war. Typically, we like as humans to break things down as to good or evil, but this one sort of twists that around a bit. It shows both sides can be very corrupt and very dark and malicious in what they do, but it also shows the reasoning behind what they do. It kind of reminds me of the old thing of Lelouch versus Suzaku from Code Geass, where the question is, do the ends justify the means? Through this first season, we follow one main group of drifters, and considering how the show is set up, I wouldn't be surprised if next season there may be more of a focus on some other groups or whatnot. The way the show is set up, it really does seem like it may be moving towards that. But for this season, we focus on the main three, which are there's Nuichi, whose main thing is he's very, very good with a bow. He also has apparently some twisted backstory, which we only got a small glimpse of throughout this season, but they'll probably go in more than that in further seasons. Not too much to this character so far, sadly, though. And then, of course, there's the fan favorite, or at least my favorite, Nobunaga. Okay, they actually do kind of poke fun at how his story has been, his character has sort of been dramatized throughout the years, made to one extreme or another, and they kind of poke fun at that, and I like it. But seriously, this character is a boss in this story. Like, he's coming up with all these cool plans. He's sort of the mastermind and behind the shadows sort of thing. And he just is awesome to watch. Like, he's just entertaining. His voice is incredible and he's delightfully, sinister and almost evil. Like, not evil, I suppose you could say kill everyone in sight for no reason kind of evil. He's evil in the way of I'm working for the quote unquote good guys right now, but I'm doing it to satisfy my own selfish means or whatever. And it's just fun watching him on screen. And then we have Toyohisa, who is really, really awesome. Like, he goes into battle headlong, cutting off people's heads. Doesn't matter the danger, doesn't matter what he's getting, stabbed or cut up or nothing. He just, goes in all with a smile, and it's amazing. But I do not like a couple of things about him. First of all, he's kind of sexist. Like, really, really sexist. A slight spoiler to one of the fights when he fought Joan of Arc is he was fighting her full out, had to put out a bunch of different sort of tricks and things to get around her sort of special ability, which is throwing fire swords, which was really cool. But once he figured out it was a woman he was fighting and not a man, he basically said, "Ha, I couldn't take your head. You're beneath me. Go fix me a sandwich." Yeah, I didn't like that at all. There was also another part in the story where he told a guy he wasn't going to cut off his head, that he was totally going to just let him and his men go if he surrendered. Then they surrendered and he still cut off his head. It was stupid. I don't know. Probably just a difference in culture or whatever, but I just found it annoying. As for the action in this show, it's all pretty good. I wouldn't exactly say it's Hellsing Ultimate levels of good, but it's still pretty good. There were some fights where the animation looked like they were kind of cutting corners every once in a while, but overall, really cool. And the art style, of course, looks like Hellsing Ultimate with a bit of, I suppose you could say, shading. Maybe that's the right word for it. It looks really cool overall. I would say that I really, really, really like the designs for the monster characters, particularly the dragons. Like they just look boss, and they introduced this sort of like main big dragon towards the middle part, and his design, his like overall like I am the biggest thing around here for a bit. That was really cool. I'm not usually one for the music in animes too often. Usually I watch the opening and ending themes once and then skip them the rest of the anime. But this one got you hyped with the opening theme. It was just like going all out and I loved it. At the end of the day, I give this show 4 stars out of 5. It was thoroughly entertaining, and the only thing I'm kind of sad about on this is the fact that this one season felt like the beginning part of an incredibly epic story. And the problem with anime is sometimes you don't always get the conclusion to said epic story. But the way they had it at the end, they do seem to have like a sequel planned or whatever, so I have my fingers crossed. So until next time, I am the Anime Viewer 66. Thank you, and good night.